That certainly is some nice cherry Coke. I sure hope there aren't any roofies in it. Hello everyone, welcome back to another installment of Home Media Reviews. In this episode, we're going to be looking at a movie that I believe is destined to be renowned as a classic 20 to 30 years in the future from now, The Hangover. And why do I say that? Well, first of all, you'll have to watch the rest of the video to find out, silly. But as just a little preview of my thoughts here, this movie's hilarious, and it was a cultural phenomenon when it first came out back in 2009. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's go ahead and jump into the history section of The Hangover. So The Hangover first hit theaters on June 5th, 2009. On a budget of $35 million, this movie grossed $469.3 million. In case you need me to explain that to you, that's a huge profit for Warner Brothers. This movie made, for lack of a better term, a shit ton of money. And it should have, because as I said earlier, the movie's hilarious. I didn't see The Hangover in theaters. I was turning 10 the very next month in 2009, so there was no way my parents would let me see this. I also didn't have any interest in this kind of movie back then. I first saw The Hangover a few years ago. I was dating my wife at the time, and she had been talking about how she wanted to watch it for a while. We were both fans of The Office, so we were both fans of Ed Helms. So I thought, hey, what the hell, why don't we sit down and actually watch it? And we both laughed our asses off during the entire thing. That was about 2 to 3 years ago, so it's been relatively recently that I've seen the first Hangover film. I ended up watching the sequels by myself because my wife had no interest in them, and they're not great, but we're not talking about those right now. Let's talk about the Blu-ray/DVD release of the first Hangover. This hit store shelves on December 15th, 2009, and we have a couple of editions to talk about here. So on your screen, you're seeing two different DVD releases. There was a single disc with both a full screen and a widescreen aspect ratio option. This was in a weird time period. Full screen and widescreen were still kind of on their way out. I remember, I think The Incredible Hulk from 2008 has a full screen variant DVD for some weird reason. It took us as a society many years to move away from the boxy look of 4x3 and embrace the gloriousness of 16:9 widescreen. But for those of us that were still stuck in the past, you could pick up the single disc DVD and watch your little Hangover movie on your little 4x3 box television. However, this only included the theatrical cut of the Hangover film. If you wanted the elusive unrated cut, you had to pick up the 2-disc DVD variant. But you're sacrificing there. While you gain an extra cut of said film, you also lose the full screen option. You have to watch The Hangover in widescreen if you want to watch it unrated. If we jump over to the Blu-ray, however, that also included both cuts. So if you were an early adopter of Blu-ray and hated full screen, this was a great deal. I'm actually more familiar with this Blu-ray than I care to admit. I frequent half-price books a lot, and this movie is always on clearance for $3. Whether that's DVD, Blu-ray, doesn't matter, it's always in the clearance aisle. And I think it's because the movie sold astronomically well on home video. Not only did it gross close to $500 million in theaters, it probably made close to half that on home video alone. And again, all that money, just pure profit for Warner Brothers. That's actually where I ended up picking up my copy, was on clearance at half-price books, so I guess everything comes full circle. So less than a year later, on October 12, 2010, we got a new release of The Hangover on Blu-ray and DVD, and it sports the title The Extreme Edition. Now, as far as I know, this is just a reprint of the Blu-ray and the 2-disc DVD set from the year prior. They just changed the name to make it seem like it was new. I don't know what's extreme about this. It includes both the unrated and the theatrical cuts, Is it extreme because it acts as the full screen option on the DVD? I don't know what they were going for here. 2 years later, on November 20th, 2012, we got a triple feature Blu-ray set. This included The Hangover, Hangover 2, and Due Date. You were thinking I was going to say Hangover 3. That monstrosity didn't exist yet. But Due Date, I've seen that movie. I like it quite a bit. I think Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis pair up nice. January 29th, 2013 brings us the best of Warner Brothers 100 movie collection. I refuse to say all these names of these films. There's over 100 of them. I'll give you the highlights here. Gone with the Wind, Citizen Kane, Superman 78, Batman 89, and The Hangover. Did you ever think that you would hear the words Citizen Kane and The Hangover in the same sentence? May 7th, 2013 brings us a Blu-ray steelbook of The Hangover. It's got the baby on the front cover. It's another release that I saw rotting on Best Buy store shelves back when Best Buy carried physical media. I don't know if there was just a lot of backstock of these, but like in 2018, 2019, there were still copies of this hanging around at Best Buys. June 4th, 2013 brings us a Blu-ray double feature set. This included The Hangover and Old School. Never seen Old School. I've heard about it from some friends, and I hear it's quite funny. Later on in 2013, July 2nd, 2013 to be exact, we got a 20-film collection comedy DVD set. Another set that I refuse to name all of the movies in. I'll name a couple of them for you. We have Vacation, Risky Business, The Hangover, and Beetlejuice. We talked about this earlier in this season of HMR. What a fun callback that is. 2013 was the year of The Hangover, because we got one more release to talk about here. On December 3rd, 2013, we got a Hangover Trilogy Blu-ray set. Yep, Hangover 3 finally exists. Now you can pick up all the movies packaged together in this nice little Blu-ray set. I don't know why you would want to, but they're here. This next release makes even less sense. On October 28th, 2014, we got a Blu-ray double feature with The Hangover and Hangover 2. Now, I may not like Hangover 2 and 3 very much, but if I'm going to pick up a 2-pack of the first two films, I might as well just go ahead and get the trilogy set and have all three of them. And then this next release makes even less sense. Less than a year later, on January 6th, 2015, this set was reissued on DVD. We can't leave the DVD-only people out, okay? They have to watch Hangover 2. Speaking of those DVD-only people, they're not left out here with the trilogy sets, because May 24th, 2016 brings us the Hangover Trilogy on DVD. 3 years after the Blu-ray release. Why? How have you not upgraded at this point? Come on. Blu-ray is what DVD was back in like 2008. Like, you have a Blu-ray player in your house if you have a modern-day game console. Or hell, you probably just have a cheap Blu-ray player that you picked up at Goodwill. You can find a Samsung one there every time you go in. It won't have a remote, unfortunately, but you can still find it there. Blu-ray players are as cheap as dirt at this point, and DVD players, less than dirt. Maybe that's why people haven't upgraded, because they'd rather pay less than dirt for their home media. If you missed out on that Hangover Trilogy DVD set, fear not, my friends, because on September 5th, 2017, the Hangover Trilogy DVD set was reissued, but it was now part of the Bromantic Comedies line, with a brand new slipcover. Hey, that's a reference to the Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle HMR. That 2-pack was also included in this Bromantic Comedies line. Next up, we got another reference to the Beetlejuice HMR. The Hangover was part of the Warner Brothers Iconic Moments Blu-ray line. It's got the tiger on the front cover. And this Blu-ray came out on June 5th, 2018. As far as I know, it's the same master as the 2009 Blu-ray. They just changed the slipcover art. 2 years later, on February 4th, 2020, we got a 10-film collection Best of the 2000s DVD set. This included films like The Hangover, Ocean's 11, Letters from Iwo Jima, and A History of Violence. Okay, Ocean's 11 makes sense. Best of the 2000s. Of course, Ocean's 11 is a great movie. Letters from Iwo Jima, I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's great. Why the hell is A History of Violence here? That movie's not good. I don't care what people say about it. There's like one scene where it gets a little bit gory, and then it's just done. Then it's just Viggo Mortensen crying in a corner for like 90 minutes. It's not a good movie. The DVD-only people, they got served first on that 10-film collection, but on September 8th, 2020, you Blu-ray nuts out there, like myself, you got the chance to pick out the best of the 2000s set. It's the exact same release as the one from February 4th, 2020. It's just now it's on Blu-ray. 3 years after that, as part of the 100th anniversary of Warner Brothers, we got a 25-film collection Blu-ray set of comedies, dramas, and musicals. Comedies, dramas, and musicals. That's quite an eclectic mix of movies there. Comedies and musicals, they go together pretty well, but you throw in dramas there, I would put drama and like thriller together or something. Unfortunately, they didn't call me to advise on this box set, and now we're stuck with this. It came out, though, on April 4th, 2023, and included various films like The Hangover, Elf, The Iron Giant, The Wizard of Oz, etc., etc., etc. I don't feel like naming all these movies. I just don't. I'm not a list channel. To wrap up our history section, the Hangover Trilogy Blu-ray set rears its ugly head yet again. December 19th, 2023, Warner Brothers graced us with the Hangover Trilogy Blu-ray reissue. In case you missed your chance to pick it up back in 2013, 10 years have gone by at this point. You can now pick it up again. Or for the first time. But again, why would you want to? That does indeed wrap up our history section, folks. Let's move right along to the close-up. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your close-up look at The Hangover. The only copy we've got to look at here is the original Blu-ray release from 2009. Up here at the top, Blu-ray disc logo, The Hangover, unrated in some very classy Vegas-esque artwork there. Underneath that is the giant stripper sign that falls over in one of the many humorous moments throughout this movie. There's Mike Tyson's tiger, Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, who of course is missing a tooth, Zach Galifianakis, the chicken, which I don't believe is ever explained until the ending montage in the film, and then there's the Vegas drive safely and visit again sign. So the poster here, it's really good. It features a lot of the comedic moments throughout the film. Not all of them. I don't think you could fit them all into one poster. So here on the spine, you got your Blu-ray disc logo, film's logo, as well as the unrated logo there. And then the Warner Brothers logo down there at the bottom. The back features special features. A whole bunch of them listed there. Includes both theatrical and unrated cuts in high definition. Barcode for the film, screenshots, and I believe these are all screenshots taken from the end of the movie during the montage, where a lot of the questions about what exactly happened on this crazy night are answered. And below that, a whole bunch of other features. This thing is packed full of featurettes and stuff about the making of the movie. You got legalese, cast and crew information down there at the bottom. There's technical specifications down at the very bottom. And if we open this up, since this is a Blu-ray, both of your cuts are on one singular Blu-ray disc. And again, I think the artwork is from the pictures from the montage at the end of the movie. Well, hello, Louie. I don't know if you guys have met him yet, but this is our new cat. His name is Louie, named after the Louisville Cardinals mascot. Now, where'd you go? So everybody meet Louie. Look at the camera, buddy. Look up. Look at the camera. There it is. He's just 6 months old, so he's just learning all the various ins and outs of the apartment here. He apparently really likes my tripod. So that wraps up your close-up. Let's move right along to the menu tour. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your menu tour for The Hangover. Again, we get more references to a lot of the funny stuff that happens in the movie. There's the baby, the chicken, Ed Helms missing a tooth. There's the tiger behind Zach Galifianakis with no pants on. Just all kinds of fun stuff. So, our options here are Play Movie, Settings, Scene Selection, Special Features, and Warner Brothers Blu-ray Disc Live. That service doesn't exist anymore, so no reason to take a look at that. I will go ahead and select Play Movie, though, because you can play either the theatrical version or the unrated cut from this menu. So when you select Settings, there's a little sub-menu that pops up here. We have Language Settings and Menu Audio. Take a look at Language Settings. For spoken languages, we have English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. And for subtitles, we have English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. I don't really feel like we need to look at the Menu Audio tab. Yeah, it just does button audio, so it'll make noise if you select an option. Scene selection. Each scene has a number and a little screenshot. And if we scroll to the end here... Oh, and I didn't even notice this too. There's a little bar below it as well. If we scroll to the end here, 24 scenes. And I'm going to go ahead and say 24 scenes because there's crucial information that happens during the credits. We get the photo album of everything that happened on that hangover night. And for the special features menu, we have a picture-in-picture theatrical version commentary track that you can turn on and off. And there's a little description of it down there. Hilarious picture-in-picture commentary of the theatrical version only, featuring Bradley Cooper, Zach Galifianakis, Ed Helms, and Todd Phillips, the director of the film. That's really cool. You can only get that for the theatrical cut, though, not for the unrated cut. So the unrated cut has no audio commentary or anything for it. If we go over here to extras, we have a map of destruction. Retrace each step the guys took during their fate-filled evening and see the real locations, learn about their Las Vegas lore, and see the filming that took place there. That's pretty cool as well. Featurette about the madness of Ken Jeong, action mashup, compilation of all the physical comedy from the film. Only 35 seconds. Weird. Got the Three Best Friends song, because we're the three best friends that anyone could have. We're the three best friends that anyone could have. Featurette about the Dan Band. We've got a gag reel that goes on for 8 minutes. And more pictures from the missing camera. More photos exposing the events from the night of mayhem. So that wraps things up here for your menu tour. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions, as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? Half Price Books. It doesn't matter where you're at. You will find copies of this, whether on Blu-ray or on DVD, in the clearance aisle at Half Price Books. You'll pay either $1 or $3, depending on the format, but it will be there. If you don't have a Half Price Books that's near you, first of all, you should really consider moving, because Half Price Books is amazing. But if you don't want to move, check eBay, I guess. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? It is not. I can confidently say that. It's been 2 years, well, close to 2 years since the last Blu-ray reprint, and it was in that 3-pack, so no, definitely not. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Tracy, it's Phil. Yeah, well, we fucked up. Immediately I'm hooked by this setup. A guy named Doug is getting married and he's missing. Bradley Cooper has blood all over his mouth. Zach Galifianakis and Ed Helms are just there, just hanging out in the background. What the hell am I in for? We're then introduced to each member of the... After that amazing opening, we're then introduced to each of our main cast. Bradley Cooper scams his students out of cash in order to have more money to spend in Vegas. Gotta love Phil. Cooper definitely gives one of the best performances in this film. He is just so charismatic throughout it. We also learn that Zach Galifianakis is Doug's soon-to-be brother-in-law. Yeah, Doug, he's the guy getting married in the earlier part of the movie, and he's the guy who we're going to be looking for the majority of said movie. Zach Galifianakis plays Alan, and he's the odd man out of this group. He doesn't know these other guys and was only invited because Doug is your classic nice guy. I'll talk more about Galifianakis here soon. I gotta talk about Ed Helms, who plays Stu, the classic whipped boyfriend who's barely convinced his girl to let him go on this trip. I'll always like Ed Helms in the classic days of The Office. When he was first introduced as Andy, he was really unlikable. I could not care less about him and was really happy when he got shipped off to anger management. And man, I hated what they did with him in these last seasons, and I blame The Hangover partially for it. Ed Helms had to go off and film Hangover Part 3, so he had to leave the Office show, and I think season 8, I believe, and his character got completely trashed. And his character was completely shit on because of that horrible, horrible decision. I'm sure he made bank from Hangover 3, but man, Ed Helms, you let them murder Andy Bernard. Stu is kind of like Andy, except Stu doesn't think he's the shit all the time. What can I say? It's a classic Ed Helms role. I like him in almost everything I've seen him in. He does a good job here. But the standout is Zach Galifianakis. I love him as Alan. He gets all of the crazy, just funny lines, and he delivers them just deadpan serious, and it makes me laugh every time. You know, gambling's not illegal, it's just frowned upon. Like masturbating on an airplane. Pretty sure that's illegal too, Alan. Yeah, maybe after 9/11, when everybody got so sensitive. Thanks, Bin Laden. So our 4 main cast members, well, I should say our 3 main cast members and Doug, get to the villa that they're renting in Las Vegas. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but there's no way that thing would cost $4,200 a night today. In fact, let me do the math for you here in just a moment. In fact, I'll do the math for you here. Okay, so according to my inflation calculator that just came, that was the first result on Google, so it might not be the best one. That villa should cost $6,440 today. I kind of doubt that too. That nice of a villa with that many bedrooms, it would cost at least 10 grand a day. Let's not kid ourselves. I'm not saying it's a bad villa. I'm just saying that part kind of took me out. There's no way you would rent that for $4,200, even in 2009. But Alan's toast, and after he cuts himself, that pulls me right back into the movie. I completely forget about the villa fiasco. You guys are my wolf pack. Our guys then wake up with the titular hangover, and the camera work when Stu first wakes up was really interesting. He remains completely still while the background moves around him. It was a cool trick to show how disoriented everyone is. Alan hardly realizes there's a tiger in the bathroom while he's taking a piss. As much as I love The Hangover, here's a big part of it that doesn't work for me. When we lose Doug, the movie loses nothing. Stu, Phil, and Alan, they've been carrying this entire movie on their shoulders, and we're supposed to care a lot about Doug. But I just don't. Doug works better as a MacGuffin than he does as a, quote, main character. I haven't even mentioned the actor who plays Doug. It's Justin Bartha, because he doesn't matter at all here. He gives a fine performance, but as a member of the Wolfpack here, he means nothing. Which I guess it works in the form of he works as a MacGuffin, but I really wish that we didn't spend so much time at the beginning of the movie building up the fact that he's the one getting married. I wish it would have been, I don't know, Phil or Stu or someone, and maybe Doug was the best man. I don't really feel like it works all that well with him being the main character. But the movie is so damn funny, I can forgive it of that, because Stu, Alan, and Phil, they're carrying this on their shoulders with flying colors. We start working our way back throughout the night, and we find out Phil was in the hospital, and for some reason, when they go in to talk to the doctor who saw them last night, he's giving an old man a prostate exam? Why would the doctor let the guys in while he has that old guy there? I think patient-doctor confidentiality has left the building. She's wearing my grandmother's ring. What? Her Holocaust ring. I didn't know they gave out rings at the Holocaust. Bro, I lost it. That perfectly timed line. I'm telling you, Galifianakis, he gets all the best lines here. We keep finding out all this crazy stuff that happened last night. Stu married a stripper at a rinky-dink wedding chapel, and there's apparently a group of criminals after the Wolfpack too. Interesting stuff just keeps happening to these guys. We find out they even stole a police car, and they get arrested for that. Deservedly so. And hey, Rob Riggle cameos in the police department. I love me some Rob Riggle, especially in the Jump Street films and The War with Grandpa. Wait, you guys never saw The War with Grandpa with Robert De Niro? Not many people remember that last one. I thought it was good, though, hoping I really enjoyed that when we saw it. Not many people remember that one. I don't blame you if you haven't seen it, but I thought it was pretty good. Apparently the classic Mercedes that was gifted to the wolf pack wound up at an impound lot, and when they get it back, they hear this banging on the trunk. Color me surprised when a naked Ken Jeong flies out of the trunk and starts wailing on Phil. Again, another moment where I laughed a lot the first time I saw it. You are literally too stupid to insult. That line can be used for a lot of people. Most recently, Thomas fans who cheer on the murder of innocent people. Mike Tyson shows up at the Vegas villa. Mike Tyson. Turns out the tiger belongs to him. Good to know. Definitely don't want to mess with Tyson there. And you definitely don't want to be Zach Galifianakis in this scene because he gets his ass knocked out by Mike Tyson, which was really funny. Tyson, why couldn't you do that to Jake Paul? That's the one thing I wanted you to do, man, and you couldn't deliver it for me. So they get the tiger back to Tyson's place. They watch a bunch of security camera footage about how they robbed Mike Tyson of his tiger. They literally walk it to a police car. And after that, they're wandering around in the street, and then the Chevy Tahoe just comes out of nowhere and slams into the side of the Mercedes. I'm not entirely sure why crashing into the car was important or necessary for that matter, but it makes for a cool stunt. And hey, we get our quest for the rest of the film. The guy stole 80 grand from Ken Jeong. That's why he was locked in the trunk. And now they've got to use Alan's expertise to win it all back. Because apparently Alan is a blackjack, champion now. The whole casino scene is really good, too. I gotta highlight the song that plays during the blackjack sequence. It's called Joker and the Thief. I couldn't tell you the name of the band that it's by, but the reason I know it is because it's become the unofficial fight song of the Louisville Cardinals football team. They usually play it around the fourth quarter to get the fans hyped up. So the minute that I start hearing, I'm like, I'm going to start pumping my fist here. I'm expecting to see all the Louisville football players come running back out onto the field. Like, come on, let's go. We got a game to win. I forgot to mention this too. Apparently Doug was being held hostage by Ken Jeong, but not the Doug that we know. It's drug dealer Doug. Turns out his name is Doug too. He's the one who sold Alan the roofies. Alan apparently thought it was ecstasy. I could totally buy that Alan doesn't know the difference. I wouldn't know the difference. But drug dealer Doug, he brings up a good point after he gets freed. Why do they call them roofies? You're more than likely to end up on the floor than on the roof when you get slipped one of those. I guess it's because the official name of the drug is Rofalin. I guess that's where its abbreviation comes from. But guess what, everyone? Doug was on the roof the whole time. I guess you could have figured that out from the mattress, but first time I saw this, I didn't figure it out. I had no clue where the guy was. I wasn't thinking about him. I was having too much fun with the rest of the guys. I feel like I just need to address this here. Doug is extremely late to his own wedding. I would just like to point out, I was not that late to my own wedding. I wasn't late to my wedding at all, actually. I was on time, and I played Uno with my groomsmen. I also did not go to Vegas for my bachelor party. We played Mario Kart and ate pizza in my living room. I could never imagine being that late to my own wedding, though. My wife still wanted to go through with it. But this is fictional, so of course, Doug gets married, and everything goes perfectly for these guys. Everything works out just wonderfully. Stu even breaks up with his demanding girlfriend, who was the mom from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. The first 3 films, not that horrible fourth one. So The Hangover. It is full of comedic moments delivered by an amazing cast that never fails to make me laugh. Most of the great lines are given to Galifianakis, but everyone gets a good one or two lines here or there. I don't remember the last time I've laughed, for one, this hard, and also consistently throughout since Christmas Vacation. One of the best modern day comedies that will go down as a classic. Absolutely recommended. And I'm sure you guys want to know my thoughts on the sequels. It's been years since I've seen them, but I did not like either of them. Hangover 2 is basically just the first film again, except like one or two things are changed. They hang out with Ken Jeong more. And then the third one takes a dropped line here from drug dealer Doug about how some mob boss is going to be pissed off at him because he sold the guys roofies instead of ecstasy. It takes that whole line and turns Hangover 3 into some kind of weird mob movie. And I don't even remember Hangover 3 being that funny. I remember it actually going for a more serious tone. Why in the world did they think that was a good idea? Why in the world did they think Hangover 2 and 3 were good ideas? Because the first one made a shit ton of money, that's why. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Hangover 2 and 3 did pretty well at the box office as well, so that's why Warner Brothers kept making these damn things. Proves my theory that Todd Phillips cannot direct sequels. He made a great movie with the Hangover, completely shat the bed with Hangover 2 and 3, made a great movie with the first Joker, and according to the entire fan base online, shat the bed with Joker full ado. I say the entire fan base because I haven't seen it yet. I want to watch it at some point, but I don't know though. A lot of people say it's just absolute garbage. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Same answers as number 1. And number 5, what price should you pay? $3 on clearance at Half Price Books. I don't know how many more times I can nail this into your tiny, tiny skull. So that, folks, wraps up your home media review for The Hangover. I can't tell you guys how much I recommend this movie. There aren't enough words to describe how much I recommend The Hangover. I mean, this movie is just hilarious. But as I said earlier, only watch the first one. Don't watch those sequels out of curiosity. If you have to watch one, I guess 2, just because. But for the love of God, don't waste your time on 3. Don't do it. So what are we going to cover next week, folks? Well, why don't we stick with modern comedy? I feel like we're going to stick with modern comedy for the rest of our time here throughout Season 7 of Home Media Reviews. We've done a lot of old stuff. Let's talk about new stuff. And next week's comedy is one that came out a couple years ago, and not a lot of people saw, and those who did see it don't talk about it much anymore. But this is what my wife, Hope, will tell you is her favorite movie of all time. It's not a Disney movie like Princess and the Frog or Tangled, though those are high up on her list. My wife's favorite movie is Good Boys. Part of the reason why I threw it in here was because I knew she'd want to watch this with me, because she's down to watch Good Boys whenever. Why is it my wife's favorite movie, and why do I like it so much? You'll have to come back next week to hear that review. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I'll see you all then. Good night, everybody.